Yep, you caught me having another cup of tea. I have my teapot up here and I'm just pouring it. So go grab yourself a cuppa and get ready for our next lesson. Right, hi everybody. Okay, today we're going to look at layers. I know that it can be a little bit confusing when you're first starting out with layers because, you know, this program is not the easiest program to maneuver if you don't know what you're doing. And I think that's one of the reasons why most people are put off from actually learning Photoshop, because they look at the layers and they think, what on earth is that? But once you think of them as a stack of paper on your desk, I think it can be a little bit easier. Okay, so I've opened up my layer panels and I have an image that I've just quickly created for you, which I've added several little bits and bobs to so that you can see why the layers panel is so important. So over here we have our background, and that background is actually locked. It's partially locked. What it means is that's our background. It's the base layer. So it naturally does that to that base layer when you open up a new file. Then on top of that I have a scratched layer, which is this layer here. Okay, that one you can just see in the background. Then I have a shape, and then I have a layer on top, and that's got an effect added to it. So what we're going to do is look at, first of all, the little eyes over here. I'm going to just click on the eye, and what you'll notice is it takes the scratch layer away. The layer is still there, but we can't see it anymore, and this is really useful if you want to save a file without the scratch layer and then add the scratch layer, or if you just want to see how it looks with and without. Then if we just show you that layer again, I'm going to go up to shape and do the same. So I've hidden my shape and now I have just this lovely scrap. Now I'm going to hide the scrap, and you can see that that's now gone, and we just have our basic layer there. Now over here you can see I've got an effect, okay, and it says FX for FX. You know, there's no other way of saying it except FX stands for effects, EFFECTS. So I'm just going to double click on that, and it will show you that I've actually got a bevel on there, and it just shows you how I've created that bevel. I've done the direction going up, and it shows you how many pixels the bevel is, and it shows you the lighting angle. But guess what? I didn't do any of that, because what I was doing was playing with some of the buttons down here. Now I'm going to come on to these in the next lesson, okay, but you can actually open up the effects and add an effect to your image using these. Alright, I'm going to come on to that in a second, but I just want to show you there is actually an effect added to it, and I've used the effects down here. Okay, now I'm going to do a video on drop shadows, but again, that's going to come later on. I don't want to confuse you, I don't want to get you just in over your heads. So initially I just want you to see that every single layer here is in a different box over here, and you can see whether it's got an effect on it, whether it's locked, whether you can see the layer or not, and you can just click through, and this really is your design space that you just really need to get to grips with, because it's going to help you. Right, if I wanted to remove this effect here, I could just, can you see, if I click with my left mouse button and hold it, I could take it up and pop it in the bin, and it's vanished. I'm just going to edit it, undo that. Can you see I have this little outline here, this like bevel effect of my piece of paper? If I click on that, hold it, so I'm just left clicking and holding it and dragging it up to the bin, I can get rid of it. Likewise, I can get rid of a layer. So I'm just going to left click that one so it's highlighted, then I'm going to left click and hold and drag up and put that in the bin. So there's a lovely little delete layer bit up there that I wanted to let you know about, which is really useful. Just going to put all of that back on. The other thing that you can do, which I think is absolutely brilliant, say I wanted to use this layer but I wanted to use it in a separate document. If I right click and I click duplicate layer, over here you will see I can actually rename it and put that new layer in as a separate layer. But what I can also do is start a new file with just that layer, and I can rename it. I can call it blue scrap. Oop, if I can spell or type today. Oh goodness, blue scrap. There we go. So immediately I have now got that file open. There's still my old folder here, okay, but I've got a new file open. You can see it's up here, it's been added. Just click on it, there we go. There's my layer. This one is my completed one, and then over here I've just got a blank file that I was playing around with. But as you can see, it's taken that particular layer and it's popped it into a new document for me. This is so useful because say you create something really lovely, but you want to use it in a pocket, and then you want to use it again in an envelope. You want to mix and match all of the things that you've created, but you want a theme running. It is really, really easy to take a particular layer that you've created and just pop it into a new document. How cool is that? Okay, it's brilliant for using your images elsewhere. Now, so you can really just get to grips with this layers panel over here. It's not scary, okay, it really isn't, but it's important that you understand how it all works, okay. You can link layers here, we can group layers. Do you remember when I showed you how to group them? I'm just going to undo that now because it's just grouped it. We can create a new adjustment layer on there with that one. There's lots of bits and bobs that we can do in here, but as long as you know that each of these single layers, it will tell you that it is a shape on this one, and this one tells you it's got an effect on it. As long as you know what each layer is, and you can hide them and reveal them so that you can get to grips with what they are and where they are, it's a really good idea just to open a blank file, add loads and loads of layers, add some effects, even if it looks rubbish. But as long as you've got this pile of layers here that you can play around with, delete things, get to grips with things, move things above each other, and the layers panel just won't be scary anymore. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, just leave them down in the comments and I'll help you out. Alternatively, you can always email me at coastalcrafteruk@gmail.com and I will help you the best way I can. I normally pick up my email quite a few times in a day, so I can normally get back to you quite quickly. But any questions, any worries, just contact me. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that, even though I'm tripping over my tongue in this video. I hope you've enjoyed that little lesson. Play around with those layers, and until next time, craft yourself happy. Take care.